Hi everyone, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my 2024 Project Life. Today I'm putting together the first spread and a half of my 2024 album, and we're starting off by adding a little bit of foil to this photo. I printed it on my Canon PIXMA Pro 100 printer and then on a laser printer to get the black text. I'm prepping the photo to run through my Mink machine, and the toner from the laser printer is what will allow the gold foil to adhere to the photo. The plastic sleeve protects anything you put through the Mink machine, and the Mink machine is like a laminator but with a few more options for temperature. My plan for this page is to make a custom 9x12 pocket using the Fuse tool. It will have a 6x8 pocket, 3x4 pockets, and a 6x4 pocket. I got this idea from Stephanie V, and I will link the tutorial down below. Now I'm laying out the photos and cards I'll be using in the front. The bottom photo is of me on my Peloton, and my mom is working out next to me using the Peloton guide. I'm going to have a flip on top, and that will be my mom on the Peloton for the first time, and on the flip side there will be a journal card. It has been a while since I first followed Stephanie's tutorial, and once I was ready to start, I remembered that I needed to have the front and back layouts done before using the Fuse tool, because normally you seal the bottom row. So I put another cutting mat on top and laid out the cards and photos again. This blue card, which says January in Spanish, along with the 2024 Feliz Año card, are from the new Lora by Lora quarterly kit. The kit is in Spanish, which is new for me, but I love it so far. I would link it in the details, however, it is sold out for the year. This photo of French toast is what we had on New Year's Day. This was the first time that I used my Canon Zoe Mini 2, which is a photo sticker printer. In the US, it's called the Canon Ivy, and the colors are a little bit off, and this was my second print, so I decided to just go with it, and maybe later on I will play around with it some more. Once I'm done with the journaling, then I'm going to peel off the back and stick it onto the journal card. I did trim a little bit on the side so that I could have some space on the edges like a border. I was going to start working on the back side of the spread, but I decided I wanted to add a little something to this card, so I pulled out the labels that came with the Lora by Lora kit. The stamp says it's spin time, and it is from the Everyday Explorers Power Through It stamp kit, and I'm using the Studio Calico Clean Slate ink pad. There are only a couple of labels in the kit that would nicely accommodate this stamp, and I went with the label with the green edge as the blue one wouldn't stand out as much. Even though there isn't any other green on the page, I don't mind because it's going to be on the underside of the flip. I was looking for a sticker that said Yum or something along those lines, and these are actually Erin Condren planner stickers, and it fitted perfectly because the Yum is actually in small gold dots. I'm ready to work on the backside, and the next 2 pages will be about Paris. My mom was visiting for about a month, and we didn't have planned to go to Paris, but somewhat last minute decided to go to celebrate her birthday. We went from January 3rd to the 5th, and unfortunately there was rain in the forecast for both Wednesday and Thursday, so we packed our umbrellas. We got in on Wednesday morning, so we dropped off our bags at the hotel and went to Montmartre in search of some French onion soup. Unfortunately, the soup was not worth documenting, but we went for a walk since we hadn't explored the area before. I added Paris to the photo using Ali Edwards gold alphabet stickers that are normally on sale around December daily, and I used the Thickers guide to help me with the positioning of the letters. This is now a couple of days later, and I picked out most of the cards that I want to use. I printed my journaling on thick vellum paper so I could bring down the brightness of the umbrellas card a little bit, and so that the journaling would be visible as well as the umbrellas. The umbrellas card and the blue card, which says Para Recordar, which means to remember, are both from Lora by Lora. I was unsure about using the key card holder from the hotel, and I was thinking about adding the journaling to a card which I could then pull from the top. Later on, I remembered that I had a Travel the World paper pad from Rico, which I bought last year, and I wanted to cut out a 3x4 card. Trying to decide which part I wanted to cut out was hard because it was super cute, and I wanted to make sure that I got in as many things as possible. I marked the paper with my pen, and then I did 2 cuts with my paper trimmer. And I did the third cut with my Fiskars knife, which of course went a little awry, but it was fixable, so no big deal. Next, I'm working on the umbrellas card. The vellum will fold over the top and be adhered on the back. I want to stamp Sacre Coeur on the card from a Paris stamp set by Laura by Laura, surprise, surprise. But the white strip on the card is a little too short for my taste and I want the stamp to be fully visible. So I want to stamp it on something else. In this case, a tag that matched the colors, and I trimmed off the edges. I'm adhering the tag to the card in case the stamp doesn't fully fit height-wise, and I like to use the Tombow permanent adhesive for small things, and I'm using the Studio Calico Clean Slate ink pad. So I'm going to line up the cards again to make sure that I still like them in that order, and then I'm going to trim the vellum journal card to make sure that it fits on the Para Recordar card. I'm stamping the Eiffel Tower on this card and I want half of it under the vellum, and I swear that is the plan before I didn't stamp it properly. I just wanted a little peek of it, and we already have a full Eiffel Tower on the card on the upper right, so I didn't feel like it was necessary to be able to see it all. Like I mentioned before, this vellum is a bit thicker, so I'm going to score the fold lines a little bit more, and then I'm going to run the bone folder over the folded vellum so that they will lay flatter against the cards. Then I'm going to add some adhesive to the back or the flap, and then make sure that it's nicely adhered to the back. I centered the first one, but the second one had a little bit of excess vellum, so I just trimmed that off. Almost done with this page, but I'm going to be adding the date onto the top right card, and I just plugged in my foil quill pen, and while I'm waiting for it to warm up, I'm going to work on a card for the opposite page. This card is by Laura, and I also printed the journaling on the vellum. I left a gap between the two paragraphs of journaling because I wanted to more easily see the paint palette on the card and to add a stamp between the journaling. I'm using black StazOn ink because it will not smudge on the vellum. After the Eiffel Tower not stamping properly, I decided to use the stamping platform to stamp Montmartre so that I wouldn't have to worry about not getting it in the right position. I'm just about ready to add the date to the yellow card using the foil quill pen, but first here are a few pages of the Travel the World paper pad. I gave half of it to my niece, so it's not a complete flip through, but I was just trying to find a piece of paper that I didn't care for that much to test out the foil quill pen. As this was the first time that I was using the foil quill pen, I have used the foil quill for the silhouette, but never the freestyle one. I'm adding the date in gold foil because I don't have gold alphas that are that small. I do have stamps that are that small. However, I wanted gold foil since the Paris alphas are gold and there's already gold foil on the card. When I first went to try out the foil quill pen, I used the gold foil for the ink machine, having forgotten that there are two types of foil. One that adheres to something like a laser printer toner via the ink machine or a laminator, and the other that reacts with a heat source like the foil quill. The green foil was by We Are Memory Keepers, and once I was comfortable, I prepped the Paris card. I'm using the magnetic mat so I don't have to use the washi tape to secure the gold foil in place. Do I love it? Not quite. I don't like my numbers, but I am gonna let that one slide because it doesn't stand out too much, and that's exactly what I wanted. Finally ready to make a custom pocket page, and I'm just laying out everything how I'm going to want it. And for the flip card, I'm using a Simple Stories photo flip, and it has a bit of a gap at the top, so I'm going to score and fold it closer to the top of the photo. Since most of these pockets are going to be sealed shut, I want to adhere everything back to back so that nothing moves around and then I can't fix it afterwards. For the large photos, normally what I do is align one edge, whether it be on a scoring board or on a stamping platform, so that they will line up nicely and I won't have to cut off as much from the edges. Whenever I have two 3x4 cards that are going into a 6x4 pocket, what I do is I tape them together so that they don't move around in the pocket. Okay, so this isn't going to be a tutorial on how to do a custom page. I followed Stephanie V's tutorial last year and I think I'm just winging it this year. So I am going to link it down below. The only part that's different between her tutorial and what I'm doing is that I have a flip up card. Once I've sealed the bottom 6x4 photo, I'm going to cut a slit so I can more easily work with the flip up card. But first, I see that these are not even, so I'm just gonna trim them so that they are even at the top. This is the first time that I'm not adhering the flip to the outside of the page. I'm adhering the sticky tab to the back of the photo, then adhering the two 3x4 cards to the back of the 6x4 photo, so it's kind of like a sandwich. I'm just going to continue on with the fusing. We need to fuse 2 more sections, and it can get a little tight to get the photos in, so you can just use a tool like a pen to push the insert down all the way. And I made the rookie mistake of not checking to make sure that the 6x8 would fit before I fused this, so I just trimmed it off camera. I haven't said this out loud, but the yellow Happy New Year card is from the December 2023 Paper Person kit, which unfortunately has been discontinued. This last page is going to come together fairly quickly as I had already prepped one of the 2 journaling cards. It's more photos I took in Montmartre, which is a hill in Paris, and that's where Sacré-Cœur is. On the top we have Place du Tertre, a kitty on top of an accordion, and the restaurant Le Consulat. This is one of the windmills in Montmartre, and on the back is going to be the photo, kind of like last year, of the Christmas tree in Place Vendôme. I'm adhering the 2 6x8-ish photos together, and this clear plastic is Citrus Twist adhesive strip, which is sticky only on one side, and then I'm going to use the red line tape to adhere the B side to the back of the other photo. Then I'm going to use score tape for the rest of the photo. I was running a little low on my red line tape, so I only used it on the plastic since I wanted to make sure that that really stuck. I did learn my lesson from last year and put the lighter photo face down on the scoring board in case there's some adhesive. And again, I do this so that I can use the corners of the scoring board to try to get the photos adhered as straight as possible. For the last journal card, I'm using the same Paris cardstock, but I'm going to add a tag to it. I really wanted to use the ticket stamp and coordinating die from the Laura by Laura stamp kit from last year, but ultimately it was too big and I wanted to show more of the card underneath. I also tried a white tag, but I didn't feel like it popped enough. I made a tag using a lighter blue from the scrapbook.com Cools paper pad, so I trimmed it and then I cut the edges off using a We Are Makers Crop-A-Dile corner chomper tool, and then I punched the hole using the Crop-A-Dile multi-punch. I journaled about her mission to find a replacement ornament from my sister. I got her one at the Christmas market last year, but it was involved in an accident before it was even on the tree for the first time. These puffy stickers are from Mintopia's Celebrate line from this past Christmas. I was deciding between the pink and red holly berries, and I went with the red one because there was so much red on this layout, but I'm thinking that later I might switch it out for the pink one. And in case you were curious, we did find the ornament for my sister. The big Christmas market in Paris, which is near the Louvre, is open through the first week of January usually. Finally, I'm adding some small puffy stickers from the Laura by Laura quarterly kit. The kit comes with journal cards, 6x8 paper, 2 sheets of puffy stickers, puffy alphas, and a roller stamp. I feel like I'm missing something else, but I can't remember. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, it's sold out for the year. Here's a look at the final product. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please consider subscribing, and if you do, hit the notification bell. I'm going to try to post the part 2 for January 2023 next week since it was requested by my mom. If you have any questions, please post them down below, and hopefully I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.